and welcome. Thank you for joining me. My name is Paula, also known as The Snail Garden on social media, and I have an Etsy shop, Eva Faith, where I sell hand-dyed linen for cross-stitching. I'll put all the links where you can find me in the description box below. This is my February video. I will insert a vlog of what we've been up to, and then I will come back and share my projects with you. Welcome back. I have quite a few projects to share. It's been a while since I've done this, so hopefully I can remember how to do it. This year I am trying to complete outstanding WIPs and fully finish items I've previously stitched. We'll see how that goes. My first item or items are 3 wool applique Christmas ornaments from this book by Buttermilk Basin. I have a small tree in our kitchen at Christmas time that is gingerbread themed, and these are to go on that tree. This is the first one, little gingerbread house, completed with some buttons. And the next two are Christmas cookies. You can see a little Christmas tree shaped cookie with small buttons. And the final one, if I can hold it, is a star-shaped cookie. And as you can see, I have put one of the buttons from Pantini on this one. During December, I had a Pantini advent calendar with all the buttons in. So I'll just hold those a little closer. And these are stitched using a combination of felted wool and wool felt. And all my threads are embroidery threads from Stash. And I've just used 2 strands. So they can go away until Christmas now. My next 3 Christmas projects are cross stitch, and this is the first one. Now this was a stitch along in 2023 by Atelier Perdu, and I have chosen my own colours for this. It was charted mostly with DMC, but with a couple of overdyed, and I've done mostly overdyed. I've made a couple of little changes. Like, I decided I wanted the O in the alphabet to be the same size. And my people aren't wearing hats. The other main change was not intentional. When I finished stitching in 23 and put it away ready for December 24, I had made a mistake with counting the grass, and so I had a gap. And so at the end I have extended the grass, and I have put the year I finished and charted a little moon to fill the space. I also changed my snowflakes to be a pale grey because I thought they stood out a little bit more. And these are the colours that I ended up using. And this is stitched 1/2 on my hand dyed 40 count linen in the colourway Birch. I haven't decided how I want to finish this yet. I want to think of something other than framing it because it looks quite Christmassy to me, and so I don't want to have it up all year round. If you have any ideas, please let me know. My second project was actually started in December and finished, but not fully finished, of course. And this is Stacy Nash's Gingerbread House sewing book. And I have stitched this 1/2 on 36 count Christmas cookies that I have dyed. And I have used all the called for colours, except I used, I believe it was Charlotte's Pink for the ribbon because my ribbon didn't show up. And I believe I changed Oscar to Havana because my Oscar was quite green. The only design change I made was instead of a candle, I have put a little embroidery hoop frame with my initial in. Now this is going to be made into a sewing book with, I have a piece of wool felt by Blackbird Primitives, and this was, or is, Apple Blossom. And I found this star fabric in my stash for the lining. I think those will go nicely together. My final Christmas project is the one I am stitching on at the moment. This was an Advent stitch along. It was a collaboration between Soed and Pansy Patch Quilts and Stitchery. And I stitched this 1/2 on 40 count shed roof. Now I have changed this design considerably because a lot of people have turned it into a drum, and I think it would have been quite a tall drum. And so I've shortened it by bringing the border up, and instead of staggering the words, I've put them straight across. Then I had fun with snowmen. They're having a little snowball fight over top of winter. And I've charted a couple of reindeer. And now I'm putting a couple of houses in that were in various places at the bottom of the chart. These ones are all as charted. I call this shed roof because when I was growing up, my grandparents lived in an old Victorian red brick house with a big garden. My granddad had lots of sheds in the garden, and this sort of reminds me of it, of all the different types of sheds he had. And these are the colours, and they are all called for. Those are the only Christmas projects. I have one more cross stitch project, and out of the packet. This one is my Blackbird Designs, Dear Hearts, and I have stitched the little heart pincushion. And this is my pincushion. It's my own hand-dyed deep raspberry. And I have dyed some velvet on the back to match. And this is stitched 1/2 on, I believe that's 40 count. Now mine's quite bling because I found these lovely crystal beads in a local shop. And they're a bit bigger than called for. And I have stitched mine on rather than pinned mine on, so you can see there's a little tiny bead on the end to hold them on. I made a couple of changes, don't I always? I've moved a couple of the motifs around, and I put my husband's and my initial and the year we were married on it. So those are the only cross-stitch projects. My next project is another applique one, wool applique, and it is from Maggie Bonomi's book, Another Place and Time. I'm very fortunate to have all of Maggie's books, and I want to make everything in them. And this is a little pomegranate applique. And I made 2 of these, one for a friend and one for myself. And this is Blackberry Primitives wool that I have used. And I just used a sewing thread to slip stitch them on. And this is some very old French linen, quite a coarse linen. And it is stuffed full of lavender that I've grown. It smells lovely. Those are the sewing projects, apart from one I cannot share because that is some secret sewing. That might have to wait till next month. The remainder of my projects are wool related, and I'll start off with a little bit of stash enhancement. A friend and I went to Unravel, a wool and fibre festival recently, and the first thing I saw was this mini skein set from Bird Street, and as soon as I picked it up I could not put it down again. And this is a merino nylon fingering weight yarn, and they're called Pirouette Reimagined. I believe these were part of our advent for 2024, and I have added this skein to them. I'm thinking that they are going to possibly be something like a cowl, or they could be colour work on a cardigan or something. I was quite well behaved in the buying department. This is the only other purchase I made. And this is by Eden Cottage Yarns, and it is a DK weight. Again, a merino nylon mix, and it says they are from Indie Untangled, a 10-year exclusive. I believe Indie Untangled is an event in America. I then have 3 projects for knitting. A friend gifted me a couple of balls of this Katia cotton yarn. And I've decided to use them to knit a shawl for her. I don't think she watches, so I think I'm safe to share this. I am using the pattern by Helen Stewart of Curious Handmade, her Winter Wander shawl. It's probably a bit ironic because I'm knitting it in cotton and I'm going to make it bigger so that it is a summer cover-up. And I have, if you will face the right way, a little cat marker on here to show which is the right side because it's garter stitch. And I've knit the Winter Wander shawl a couple of times already, and I like this pattern as it's nice and easy to knit whilst watching television. I'm halfway through one ball of yarn for that. My second project is in my little sea-themed bag I made a while back. And then I have a couple of progress keepers that I keep on the zip that I made. And this is a fisherman's rib hat. I have shared this before and I have not made a lot of progress on it. And I'm knitting this in a DK weight yarn by Skein Queen. And it's called Monterey Bay. Beautiful colours. And as you can see, I haven't made a lot of progress. I'm not following a pattern, I'm just doing plain fisherman's rib. And I have a little cat light bulb marker on the end to show my beginning of round. And I'm knitting these on chiagos, and I keep the needles in, oops, if I'll go back in these little protector needle cozy that I made. And this will be good car knitting because it's just going round and round. My final project is again knitted in Bird Street yarn, and this is our Hiddleston base, and the colourway is Ephemera. Just these tiny little flecks in it to add colour. And this is the Margot cardigan by Along avec Anna. And I've made quite a bit of progress on this since I last shared it. As you can see, I have knitted the body and finished the ribbing at the bottom. I then stitched the buttonhole band and the button band. And this is the lace panel that goes down each side of the band at the front. It has a lace raglan increase detail. Now I must have added more raglan increases when I was knitting it to get a good fit. And so I ended up with more stitches for my sleeves than I needed. So I am trying to alter the increases to suit. So hopefully they will work out and I won't end up with a super long sleeve. I'm just doing one first in case I have to rip it out. Hopefully not. And I'm knitting these on some short circulars, and I'm doing helical knitting, so I'm using 2 balls so that I don't get a seam in it, and I still keep using 2 balls of yarn because it's hand-dyed wool and there are slight differences with every skein, and I've done that throughout. So hopefully that won't take too long to finish. So those are my only projects. I hope you have enjoyed my video. If so, please like and subscribe and leave a lovely comment. I really do enjoy hearing from you. I hope to be back at the end of March. So until then, bye.